Hello everyone, we are already starting to look at our Unit 6 assignment. This assignment is going to take a look at a lot of the same steps as the Unit 5 assignment with some different context, so let's take a look at that assignment. As always, we are going to start within our Blackboard shell, and let me just activate the student preview so that what you're seeing on your screen is the same as what you will be seeing within your course. And then we will go to our Unit 6 page, and like always, scroll down to our Unit 6 assignment, and we will open up the step-by-step guide, and we will open up the rubric. Once again, the rubric does tell you how your points, or how your efforts break down into points, and you can see that the criteria within this particular assignment is the same as what we had for the Unit 5 assignment. We're looking for information to be correctly entered. We're looking for the figures in the values column to be summed using the auto sum formula, that we have correctly formatted the width of the column for the ease of reading, and that we have a line chart inserted into the assignment. Now let's take a look at what we have going on here, and we are going to continue our look at how much we spend on coffee, but this week we're going to track how much coffee we consume in 1 week. So I'm going to switch that over here, and I'm going to open up a new Excel file. And let me bring that over to the screen. And I'm going to open up a blank workbook, and I'm going to start formatting this according to the step-by-step instructions here. So step 1 is to open up a new Excel workbook. Congratulations, we have already completed that step. And now we are on to step 2, which is to write day of week in cell A1. And that's going to be in all caps. So day of week, and I'm going to press the tab key for here because I just want to go over 1. And then in cell B2, we are going to write total spent on coffee. The good thing about this is that we can go a little bit quicker through this video because we are following the same steps as Unit 5, so you should be familiar with a lot of these steps and how to accomplish some of these tasks. And we are going to start tracking the days of the week, which starts with Monday and then goes to Tuesday. And just like we did with last week, we could continue to manually enter our days of the week, or we can select our range of values encompassing both Monday and Tuesday, because Excel should be recognizing that we have a pattern going on, and we can use our fill handle to bring us down all the way down to Sunday there. And that will complete step 4 already. We are already close to halfway done here. So the next thing that we're going to do are add our values. And those are 50 and 54. I can press the enter key to go to the next line. 1023, 856, 1044, 1243, 2074, and 14. Oops, that's $14, not $1,400. And what I want to point out right here, and let me increase the size of my screen. There is a sliding zoom, not an auto zoom, rather a sliding zoom that you can increase or decrease your screen size. That doesn't actually change the size of the content. It just changes how large it appears on your screen. So you can increase or decrease that here. I'm going to increase it just to make it a little bit easier for you to see. And as we entered all of our values, we can see that we have 2 decimal points in all of them except for Sunday. So when we have a value that ends in zeros or all zeros after a decimal point, Excel is automatically going to round that to no decimal points when you're in a general number format. So we can see right here within the number command group that we are in the general format. And there's a couple different ways that we can fix that. In the number format, once again, you can see that these little zeros with the arrows, one of them is used to increase the decimal places and one of them is used to decrease the decimal places. So if I want to add decimal places to this one right here, I can click on increase decimal and it should add decimal places to my format. And you can see that we have changed from a general format to a number format here. I can also decrease them the same way. And I can do that with all of them. It's going to either round up or round down accordingly. And I want 2 decimal places here. And the other way that I can accomplish that, let me go back to number 14, is to use an accounting number format, just like we did for last week. That'll automatically add, I'm in the wrong cell, I have to select my range first. So we can add an accounting number format, just like we talked about last week. And that's going to add our dollar signs and is automatically going to add 2 decimal places. We can do that within the currency as well. Once again, the only difference is really between the currency and the accounting format is where the dollar sign is placed and how it handles negative numbers. So either one of those are acceptable for this particular format. If for some reason you are trying to get this to display the decimal places and it is not, one thing that you could do to troubleshoot that issue is to come up to the editing command group right here. It's towards the right hand side of your ribbon, and you could click the down arrow next to clear, and we have a bunch of options here. We can clear all, we can clear our formats, we can clear our contents, we can clear hyperlinks. If we were to clear formats, and because I only have this one cell formatted, it's going to take all of that out. So if you do have an issue with your decimal places not presenting, you can try clearing your formats and then starting over with an accounting format or a currency format. And you can try again manually increasing or decreasing your decimal places using the increase or decrease decimal commands. From here, what we are going to do is figure out how much we spent during the week. And we are going to do that by using the auto sum feature just like we did last week. We're going to select our range of values. And we're going to come up to the editing command group and we're going to use the auto sum function. And we're going to just press that and it's automatically going to calculate our total here. This is a great way for you to make sure whether or not your data within your data range of values is correct, because if you have anything other than 91, 94, then you do have an error here somewhere. The really great thing about being able to use those formulas is that if you were to make a mistake, let's say I put in 859 instead, and I can, well, I put in 559, but either way, I can see that the number that I have here is not the number that I should have, because as I change all of these numbers, the total is going to change because it is linked to the formula. So I can look at all of my data here and make sure that everything is correct. Monday is correct, Tuesday is correct, and Wednesday is not correct. So let me go ahead and correct that. 856, and then I can continue down my list and make sure that I do come out to a total of 9194. Now the next thing that we're going to do once again is to format this for ease of reading. As we do take a look at column A, I can see that day of week is cut off, some of my days are cut off, and certainly within column B, total spent on coffee is cut off. So to make everything appear within our cells, I'm going to select column A and column B, go to the format command group, or format command drop down rather, and click on auto fit column width. Now we have everything in here that we need, and our next step is to add a line chart, a line graph once again. We're going to do that by selecting our headers and our values, not including our total, just like we did last week. So we want from A1 to B8 selected, and then we can click on Insert, go to Recommended Charts, and then we want to select the line graph and press OK. And it is automatically going to format our header because we selected that within our range of data. It's automatically going to present our scale, our regression line, and our X and Y axes. So that pretty much concludes what we are doing for this week. One thing that I do want to show you, if we were to insert a stacked line, it's still going to have that one regression line. If we were to insert, let me go here, different types of lines, this one in particular, oh, sorry about that, that one did not, I gotta get rid of that one first. So let me go back to that. If I were to insert a line with markers, what that's basically going to do is put a little marker at each one of my data points. So the regression line is still the same. We're just adding a little bit of context here. And this is definitely outside the scope of this assignment, but I do want to point out some important things that may become helpful for you later on. If we were to select our chart and then go over to the right hand side and hover over this little plus sign here, you're going to see chart elements. And within here, we can actually pick different types of information that we want to include. As I go over to axis titles, you can see that I have an axis title that pops up. If I get rid of that, those two axis titles go away. If I picked data labels, that's actually going to add the actual amount to each of these data points. So that's a helpful thing that I've heard students have really enjoyed getting to know in some of my previous terms, being able to add those data labels, and that is how you do that. So that is how you can take a line graph and actually communicate very specific pieces of information within that. Without the data labels, it's just a plain regression line. And what I want to also do is take this information and let's put that into the web version. And we can open up a blank workbook within our web version. And adding our data is pretty much the same. So I'm just going to paste that in here. So right now, all I did was a Control-V to paste that into the workbook. And let me zoom in for a little bit just to make it a little bit easier for you to see. And then from here, I want to basically just demonstrate for any of you who are using the web version of where to find these commands. Usually when you open up the web version, you're going to have your ribbon, which appears like this, which is called the truncated ribbon. If you were to click on this little down arrow here where it says switch ribbons, all it really does is expand the ribbon so that you can see some of these descriptions for your commands. So we can edit our document pretty much the same way, selecting our range of data. And in here, I'm going to clear my formats. So now all I have are the numbers. And we can see that we have 1554. When we get down to Sunday, we have 14 because it is basically taking off those decimal points for us since there's no actual values after the decimal point. So we can do the same thing here using our increased decimal. Or I could use the accounting number format. And if you do get that drop down, you can just select English, United States. And then from here, we can once again make sure that our range of values is selected. We can use the auto sum function right here in the editing command group. If our ribbon is truncated, we're just going to look for the auto sum icon, which is this little Greek letter E. But expanding that ribbon definitely makes it a lot more helpful for you. So we can use our auto sum function here. It's automatically going to keep the same number format, our same accounting format. I can click on my columns to select them, and then I can go to format. And once again, if I were to have my truncated ribbon and I hover over all of these icons, they're going to tell me what they are for. So I can select the drop down on format, use auto fit column width, and that's automatically going to fit my column for me. Now I want to select a line graph, so I'm going to select my range of data that does not include the total, and I can go to insert, and then within here I can click on recommended charts, and this one right here is my line chart. I can also select line from my list of recommended charts here as well. So if I have my ribbon expanded, we're going to see a slightly different appearance here, but I can also select line graph from here, and I can just select a 2D line. That's going to automatically insert my line graph, and that completes this assignment. One more thing that I do want to show you once again is what happens if you were to select the total. If I have the total in there and I insert a line graph, it is going to compare the total against all of the individual inputs that are contributing to that total. So we have a skewed regression line, we have skewed data, because obviously this number is significantly larger than all of these numbers because all of these numbers contribute to the total. So we want to make sure that we do not have our summed total as part of our range of data when we select our charts. So I'm going to select that one more time and just show you what the difference looks like between those two. And you can see that we do have a pretty significant difference of this one here on the left being our graph that includes the summed total, and this one that does not. This one right here is going to automatically present a stacked line. So if you have an orange line instead of a blue line, there's a good indication that you need to go back and exclude your total. If you do need to edit your chart title because you did not select that within your range of data, let's say that we only selected our days and our values on their own. If I go and insert a line chart here, we're going to see that chart title appears in the chart title instead of total spent on coffee. So we can click on that. If we do a double click, and actually in the web version it looks like it's not going to allow me to do that, but if I double click on chart title, I can actually edit it here. On the right hand side we do have a pop-up box, so I can edit the chart title here. Total spent on coffee, and press enter, and we can see that it updates within the desktop version. Let me just show you that here. If I were to insert a line graph and I do not have chart title, I can click on it and we can insert we can edit our chart title manually from here as well. So it's a little bit different in how we edit the chart in the web version as opposed to how we edit the chart within the desktop version, but really it's not that big of a deal because we do have that pop-up box that comes up within the web version, and we can see the chart title area and we can edit our chart chart title right there. And then within this area too, we also have our legend. We can edit our axes. We can edit our data points in here as well. And then from here, the last thing that I want to do, if I were to make a spelling mistake, you're going to notice that Excel is not going to give you the red squiggly line that Microsoft Word or Microsoft PowerPoint presents to you. So it's a lot easier for you to make a mistake. I actually made one right here on coffee. I left off one of the E's. So it is important that we do go back and double check our work. I'm going to edit that there and press enter, and we can see that we have corrected that one. And the other thing that we can do is we can click on review, and we can go to the proofing command group here, click on spelling, and then that is going to tell us that today is not in the dictionary, but in the suggestions we have Tuesday. I can click on change all, and then we can see that our spelling correction is made here. We can do the same thing within this one. Let's see. We'll go Monday and Suday. So we can also go to the review tab here, click on review, go through spelling. It's going to tell you in the desktop version a little bit different of a pop-up window, but it's going to tell us that Mode is not in the dictionary, so we can choose to ignore it. We can add it to the dictionary. Adding it to the dictionary, basically, if there was a word that you know is spelled right and Excel is saying that it's spelled wrong, adding it to the dictionary will basically expands the dictionary's understanding of what you want to spell and how you want to spell it. So we can actually make that change there. In this case, we do not want to add that to the dictionary. We want to select change after making sure that Monday is highlighted within our suggestions. I'm going to press change, and then it's going to bring me to my next one, which is Suday. I want Sunday selected within suggestions, and I click on change, and it tells me that spell check is complete. Obviously, the last thing that I need to do is to save this. So I'm going to, and let me bring this into view here. I want to use our post-university folder. I'm going to save as, and I'm going to click on browse, go to my desktop because this is where I keep my post-university folder. Open up my course folder, which is CIS110, and then use my same numbering convention. So I'm going to use my CIS110, which is my course number, Unit 6, and assignment. So I have my same convention using 3 different components: course number, unit number, and a descriptor. I can press save and click out of Excel. If I open up my post-university folder, everything keeps opening up on my next screen, but that's all right. I'll just drag it back over. When I go into the course folder, I can see here that I have everything very neatly organized. It's very easy to find what it is I'm looking for. Everything has the same 3 components. Now, when I go back into Blackboard, I'm going to close out the web version here. When I go back into Blackboard, I can go to my Unit 6 assignment to submit this. I click on the assignment heading, which is also the link. Browse Cloud Service is for attaching a document that is in OneDrive or saved in a cloud somewhere. And Browse Local Files is for your computer. So I'm going to click on Local Files. If it doesn't open up at your course folder automatically, you can search by going to your desktop, going to Post University, CIS110, and very easily find your Unit 6 assignment. And then from here we can see that it is attached. I can click on Submit, and you should be fairly familiar with this. At this point, you're going to go back to your assignment upload area, see your conversion, see your preview, And this is where you can also click either OK to close this out, or you can click on Start New if you would want to start a new attempt. You should get an email that lets you know that your assignment was received. You can also click on My Grades and go down your grades list until you see the needs grading icon for Unit 6 assignment, letting you know that that was submitted. And then, of course, going back to the Unit 6 page, scrolling down to the Unit 6 assignment and clicking on that to go to the assignment upload area, you'll see that we can preview our assignment once again, start a new assignment, and that should complete everything that you need for the Unit 6 assignment. I hope that everybody has found this helpful, and if you have any questions, please reach out to me. If you are in a different instructor's course, please reach out to your instructor. All of us are happy to help you. Thanks.